Yo, listen, what's going on? What the fuck is Frank Warren talking about? I didn't even want to make this video or say nothing, but real talk, I'm feeling a little bit agitated because I heard some stuff today. Frank Warren's trying to say that Joe Joyce has to be the next mandatory to Anthony Joshua. Listen, how the fuck is that possible when Joshua is fighting the mandatory Usyk later this year? It makes no fucking sense. The man owns 3 fucking belts. He's fighting a WBO fucking mandatory this year, right? So he gets rid of Usyk, let's assume. That means that it rolls over to the next belt. He has to face another mandatory. Yeah? Who the fuck is Frank Warren? Let's not forget who this fucking guy is for 1 minute. Because not only has he got fucking friends up in the WBO, but also this. He's also fucking Fury's promoter. So hear this, hang on a minute. You got Fury over there playing around with the WBC belt there for a couple years. He don't want to fight no one anyway, you already know that. But he's stopped now and he wants to, don't want to even fight Wilder. The man he took the belt from, fair and square, he don't want to, that's all down to Aaron, but that's another story. Tyson can do what he wants, but let's not forget that Frank Warren's got ties with Tyson. Very strong ties as his main promoter, and he's a heavyweight champion of the world. So you got to look at Frank Warren's position and think, hang on. The longer Tyson keeps that WBC, the better. So the longer Tyson fucks over Wilder, the better. Wilder won the arbitration. Tyson knew he was going to win the arbitration last year. This was all planned. Anthony Joshua was just a pawn in Frank Warren's game. And Bob Arum, by the way. But you lot can figure that out. But here's the deal now. So, there's no Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight. So, Joshua goes Fury the Usyk fight. So, Joshua beats Usyk. It's a WBO mandatory. That means the WBO, by the way, is out of the picture for at least a couple of years. Because the facts are, once someone's undisputed or has that many belts, you have to give them a break. You have to give them a chance. You have to give them a hot minute to defend each one. I mean, look at it like this. If Joshua defeats Usyk, yeah, to hold onto his WBO, and then 6 months later the WBO says to not just Joshua but the world, we're stripping you, Joshua, because you won't defend your WBO. No one's going to believe you or understand it because we just saw you defend the WBO. So don't WBO think that you got you're on a pedestal above the other committees, because here's the thing. I don't personally, I just believe they should all be one belt, but it is what it is. Here's what it is. Once Joshua defends the WBO, he will. It obviously has to bounce around. Now, I believe next should be the IBF, but I don't think they're going to try and strip Joshua. I got a funny feeling that the WBA and the IBF are going to allow Joshua to take as long as he wants, because they, like the rest of the boxing world and fans, want to see undisputed. And the only way we're going to see undisputed is if a couple of the bodies give Joshua a bit of time to defend each belt. Because what's the situation happen now is Tyson Fury decided to say, I'm not going to fight for the undisputed. I got previous engagement. So that leaves Joshua out in the cold. But fair enough, whatever. If you look at it the way it's legally set up, Tyson Fury is still in the right. So is Deontay Wilder. But they played that real clever. Because what they're trying to do is keep WBC belt over there as long as possible. Here's the facts. Deontay Wilder had it. And you all agree that he fought 40 bums, right? So once Tyson beat him, it was a thing like, how long can we keep Tyson over here? How long can we keep Tyson fighting Wilder? Either one or two things are going to happen. We're going to keep making Tyson fight Wilder until Wilder gets it back, or we're going to make Wilder not fight Fury. And right about now, it's looking like Arum has said something along the lines of This unification doesn't do you any favors, Tyson, at all. The longer you hold on to that WBC, the better. Let Wilder go for his arbitration. Let that happen. Because whether he wins or loses, you still win. Because you've been WBC champion for this whole time. And once again, you don't have to defend like you did before. I hope that makes some sense to you people, but I think I can see through these guys. And I just want to look back on WBO and Frank Warren. I don't understand him. Because if Joshua defeats Usyk, then he will still be just waiting, palms open, for Fury or Wilder to say, hey, let's have this fight. So what is Frank Warren's fucking problem? I mean, it's like, are you afraid Fury's going to lose? Because here's the thing, if Fury loses to Wilder, Frank Warren has got no piece of that pie in the Undisputed. Fury needs to win that fight. So with Frank Warren screaming out Joe Joyce's name for the next mandatory, kind of sounds like you're not got no faith in Fury, because if Fury wins against Wilder, you absolutely want that unification, do you not, Frank Warren? Yeah, you do. And that's what annoys me a little bit, is that Frank Warren's now saying, well, you fight one WBO mandatory, Usyk, by the way, putting hands up, Usyk is one of the best, and oh, excuse me, Mr. Joshua, you've beaten one WBO mandatory, you fight another one. Don't forget, Warren, that Joshua holds 3 different belts, so you have to hold your horses. And I think the WBO should also have some respect in the long run of all this, which means undisputed. Once he defeats Usyk, or if he does, even if Usyk beats him, doesn't matter, WBO, you shouldn't even be making, a scenario out of this. I think that you've had your mandatories. And I think that once Joshua defeats Usyk, WBO should step back and allow the IBF and the WBA to make their own choices, because I believe there will be clean and fair choices, unlike the WBC, which will allow the unification to go forward. But if you leave it in the hands of people like Frank Warren, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, then it will never happen. They're slightly afraid of this young guy, taking all 4 belts and making a big party of it, and that will leave no money in the pockets of the USA, nor will it leave money in the pockets of Frank Warren. And even him as a Brit, and I love him, his motives are quite clear on this one. So you guys look out for this whole Joe Joyce mandatory situation and what's coming out of Frank Warren's mouth, because it don't make much sense to me. So leave a comment or a like or whatnot and let me know what you think, because that's what I'm about, man, getting deep on this. Bless.